Was the meeting posted?
Yes.
All right, first on the agenda.
Commission will now take up matters to do with special one-day license for alcoholic beverages, for malt beverages and wine only, or either one. Cecilia Okafor for Saturday, June 13th, 2009, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Stephanie's Place Restaurant at 1484 Gorham Street. The event is a birthday party. The second item is the applicant has requested withdrawal of that application, so I will not read it. Also, here? William Fuller of the Bartending Service of New England, LLC, for Wednesday, June 17, 2009, from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The event is the NSF Summer Institute Conference at the Revolving Museum at 22 Shattuck Street, and Nicole Phillips is here to represent Mr. Fuller. Applications for all alcoholic beverages. Alan F. Kaplan of the Middle Street Village, Inc., for an enclosed outdoor area adjacent to 9298 Middle Street, the Lowell Folk Festival 2009, starting with Friday, July 24th, 2009, from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight, Saturday, July 25th, from 11 a.m. to 12 midnight, and Sunday, July 26th, from 11 a.m. to 12 midnight. Also, for all alcoholic beverages, Yam Ayob of Fortunatos, at an enclosed area of sidewalk and street in front of 44 Palmer Street, in the corner of Middle and Palmer. The Lowell Folk Festival, 2009, Friday, July 24th, 2009, from 11 a.m. to 12 midnight, Saturday, July 25th, 11 a.m. to 12 midnight, Sunday, July 26th, 11 a.m. to 12 midnight. Mr. Chairman, this particular applicant is also Fortunato's Restaurant has an outside seating area, sidewalk cafe, which is separate from this particular application.
Right.
Also, Thomas Economo of Tyler Perry Corp. for an enclosed outdoor area adjacent to 197 Merrimack Street, that should be Market Street, excuse me, for the Lowell Folk Festival, 2009, Friday, July 24th, 2009, from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight, Saturday, July 25th, from 12 noon to 12 midnight, and Sunday, July 26th, from 12 noon to 6 p.m. And last, Thomas McKay of the Backstage Concessions, Inc., for Saturday, June 13th, 2009, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The event is the Jamboree Festival at the Edward Early Jr. Garage at 135 Middlesex Street. That would be the roof level, and Colleen McDonald is a representative. We also have a communication from the director of the Parks, parking office, who has conceded that there is use of the roof level by the committee holding the Jamboree on Saturday, June 13th at the Early Garage, and also acknowledged that there would be alcohol permitted at that location.
Good. Okay, is Cecilia here? Okay, starting with you, would you just step up to the mic and introduce yourself, please?
My name is Cecilia Okafor.
Thank you. Okay. Next.
We have Ms.
Nicole Phillips.
Okay.
Yamin Ayub from Fortunatos.
Tom Economo, the Dubliner.
Okay.
Carlene McDonald.
Okay.
Alan Kaplan from the Village Smokehouse.
Okay. Is William Fuller here?
That's Nicole, the young lady.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, thank you. Okay, how many of you been before us in the past? Most, but not all. All right. What you need to know, and what the commission is very concerned about, is you need to know that this is your license. This license does not belong to anyone but you. It's your organization. If you have a full liquor license, this is in addition to this full liquor license. If you're operating at the Folk Festival in an outside area, you must make sure that the passageway is kept for anyone to be able to walk by or to go by in a wheelchair. Do not allow the fences and the chairs and tables to get pushed out to such a way that people are going to have to cross in the street. You have to allow enough of the sidewalk for people to easily walk by. That being said, you also need to make sure that the enclosed area in which you are serving alcohol beverages is well policed. that you have people out there that work for you that you can trust, that are not going to reach out and give somebody a drink. The Folk Festival brings a lot of people into town. People have a good time. We want them to have a good time. We want them to enjoy each other and enjoy the city of Lowell. We do not want to see you in here because, you know, somebody passed a drink. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never my fault. It's never, you know, somebody that was sitting there at a table decides to give some little kid or some 19-year-old person a drink. When that 19-year-old person smashes his car or falls down and gets hurt, the person that did it is not going to stand up. Unfortunately, we've become a society of excuses. And they're going to say, you know, the owner should have known. Yeah, she would have. I know that she knew, but she let me do it anyways. And so you don't want to be on that side of the coin. So it behooves each and every one of you that you are putting your self, your personal self, your own reputation, your own license, your own property, your own house on the line to do this. So I always tell people, if you're raising money for a charity or something, make sure they have insurance. Make sure they have some type of insurance, because sometimes we really need to have eyes in the back of our head, and unfortunately, I haven't figured out a way to do that yet, but when I do, I know I'm going to make $1 million on that one. But the point is, you need to know that, okay? Those of you that are going to have outside venues, make sure you have your license posted visibly right beside the cash register or whatever, so that if a police officer or somebody from the park service, you know, and they know exactly where you're supposed to be. Myself personally, I strongly advise you to have a little diagram and your license right there so that nobody has to ask for it. Nobody has to say, where's your liquor license? Do you have a permit to be out in the street? Put it up so they'll all know it. It makes it so much easier. People are walking by. It assures the public that, you know, everything's under control. And I hope you make $1 million, and I hope it's 110 degrees in the shade, and you know, just a really, really great weekend. You deserve it, because I know you're making an investment in our community, and we need people like you to make that investment, to try to make this the city go. And so we appreciate it, and we don't say these things to scare you. We say these things to educate you, so that, you know, we have people that have had the Folk Festival and been a part of it for years. The only time we ever see them is when they come in at Folk Festival time. They never come back. The police are never here. You know, I also usually tell people, if you're smart, you'll have that cell phone set so all you have to do is press the button and it calls the police department. Don't wait until something goes bad. Don't think that, oh, I can solve this, it's okay. You know, once you see something starting to get out of hand, that's the time to, you know, make a phone call, say, could you just send somebody over by? I've got a couple of people that, you know, you turn somebody away after they've had a few drinks. They've got their beer muscle up before they got to you. You know, you're going to have a great time trying to get rid of them, okay? So do those things, and those things will keep you in a safe position, keep your customers in a safe position, and hopefully everything will work out well. Commissioner.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor. Do you have any questions? Does anybody, yes?
Where do you obtain the actual licenses?
Well, if they get approved, this gentleman will issue them to you, but just don't make the check out to him personally. Okay, make the check out to the city of Lowell, okay?
They'll be available.
They'll be available. When do
Right.
you give out the licenses?
They're mailed?
No.
I will have it, if you wish, tomorrow morning.
Come pick it up at your office?
Yes, if you wish, yeah.
Okay? Any other questions? Okay, we'll get a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good luck to all of you. Thank you for coming in.
Two of you have matters to do with amplification.
I noticed the girl with the tattoo on her arm. She's waving at you. What the hell's going on here? I'm sorry. Look, wait, he's turning red. No, I never, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Commission will now take up
that's a
matters
good
to do with
speech.
special
Have a
events
safe
permits
drive.
for amplified outdoor public entertainment. Nerida Neves of the Lowell Latin American Festival for Saturday, June 27, 2009, from 12 noon to 10 p.m. The event is to take place at the North Common. There will be bands, a sound system, and performers. The Middle Street Village Inc., Alan F. Kaplan, President, during Lowell Folk Festival weekend, a band with sound system for Friday, July 24th, Saturday, July 25th, and Sunday, July 26th, an enclosed outdoor area in front of 9298 Middle Street. And last is Tyler Perry Corp., Thomas Economo, President, for the Folk Festival weekend, recorded music with sound system for Friday, July 24th, Saturday, July 25th, and Sunday, July 26th, 2009, an enclosed outdoor area in front of 197 Market Street. Members of the Commission, I just want you to know that with respect to the Lowell Folk Festival and the sound that's to emanate from the various sidewalk cafes, it's all contingent in that it not interfere with the venues that have been established for the festival itself. And each and every business owner has been made aware of that situation. So as far as hours are concerned, I didn't note anything in particular because depending on the logistics of where they are compared to, relative to a venue for the folk festival, whether they will be able to start their music sooner or later it's all based on gentleman Chris Samaras, who is works out of the Cultural Affairs Office, and the captain of the Lowell Police Department, who will be in charge with the streets of the downtown area during Folk Festival weekend.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Nereida Nieves from the Lowell Latin American Festival.
Alan Kaplan, Village Smokehouse.
Tom Economo, the Dubliner.
Okay, who's this? The guy in the right? Okay, all right. What dictates sound amplification? I had my teeth fixed, now my hearing doesn't work. Okay, what dictates sound amplification? One simple answer. Common sense. Common sense. You're in a downtown area, you will be out at the Common. Most of the places will be running till 2 o'clock. I probably, if I had a place in downtown, probably wouldn't run my music till 2. I'd probably have last call up by 1:30 at the absolute latest, and the music would stop then, in order to be able to give people a time to disperse. Huh? They're not going?
The city ordinance only goes to midnight.
Oh, on sound, okay, thank you. All right, I totally forgot about that, thank you. I would quit at 11:30. You know, you all understand it, the city ordinance says midnight, so midnight, everything ceased as far as sound is concerned. You know, no more amplified, no band, no anything after midnight, okay? Common sense dictates the volume. You always have somebody in the crowd that's gonna walk over and crank up that bass, you know? And here's the walls going, and people are getting a migraine headache, and then nobody can understand why people get upset. So, you know, that's my only warning to you. Make sure that if you have a sound permit and you have a one-day liquor license, or 2-day, whatever it is, it's right there posted where the police can see it, where the people can see it, where the, you know, so that there's no questions, nobody's running around saying, you know, you don't have, right. We do not, and I will say this emphatically, we do not want to hear of any arguments with the police or the park service if they tell someone to shut off the sound, okay? They have absolute control over the sound, given the different venues and what's going on. And if for any reason they feel that the noise you're making is wrong, or it's interfering with something as far as the folk festival, please use your head and make sure you shut it off, because guess what? They're going to have a folk festival next year. And that's not by way of a threat. That's by way of considering other people in the area, and certainly those people that have been brought in by the folk festival, you know, at a tremendous expense and whatnot. We certainly want to make sure that, you know, their act or their music can be appreciated and not in competition with somebody else, okay?
No, I would just, I know the business that would most likely affect the folk festival would be the Dubliner, but you guys have done this for a number of years, so just make sure that if they're playing across the street there, yours is turned down. Okay, good deal. Other than that, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. You're all set.
Good luck, guys.
We know. Have they done the green cards? Where? Oh. Next on the agenda.
Commission now open the hearing on an application by La Borniche Inc., Anna M. Jabbar Amoynier, President, all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee at 143 Merrimack Street, for alteration of premises to include 380 square feet of sidewalk area for restaurant seating. Legal notice had been published in the local newspaper on May 29th, and it was applicant's responsibility to notify property owners touching in any church, school, or hospital within 500 feet. And also, for the record, the Lowell City Council had approved the business use of the sidewalk area for seating under the city ordinance sidewalk seating license.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Anna Omayeni from La Boniche Restaurant.
Okay. Nice drawing here, Anna.
I beg your pardon?
I say nice drawing. You know, no, really. I don't mean
Okay.
that. It really. Can you tell me on the outside edge of the sidewalk, are there any trees or benches?
No, we don't have any.
It's all clear all the way down?
Yes, it is,
That's
just the
good.
meters.
Okay. As you've probably heard what I said earlier, you know, you drive around the city and you see people, especially people in wheelchairs, and, you know, they can't get by. And that, you know, that's a no-no. We can't afford to put those people out in the street. So we need to make sure. I noticed you got about 6, you're going to be, is the sidewalk actually that wide down there?
It is. It's like almost like a double sidewalk.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're going to have 6 feet on the outside of your barrier, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
We've actually had the tables set up for a couple of weeks outside because we got the permit to serve food but not alcohol yet.
Okay.
So as far as the foot traffic and the people in wheelchairs, we haven't had any issues with that at all.
Okay. Go ahead, Ray. You got anything you'd like to
No,
ask?
I have no questions.
You have
I
no
think you guys
questions?
have done a
Looks
wonderful job with everything that we've seen so far.
Thank you.
Have they been in front of us?
Okay. Is there anyone here that would want to speak in opposition to this? In opposition? In opposition? That being closed. Anyone want to speak in favor? In favor, in favor? Well, I think Attorney Wyken just spoke in favor, so that being closed. Would you like to say something?
I'll just make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. I think it looks wonderful.
Thank
I'll tell
you.
You know, it really does. I have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you.
That does, Does that have to go to Boston?
No.
Right, right. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Right.
Paid her taxes.
Next on the agenda.
Okay, Commission will now take up the matter of an application by Midway Car Center, Inc. Assad Maroon is the president for a used car dealer license, Class 2, for premises at 1776 Middlesex Street. This being an open lot, approximately 7,200 square feet, with office in an adjacent building. The Zoning Board of Appeals had granted a special permit on February 9, 2009 for outdoor sale of used vehicles under the condition that the number of used vehicles for sale is limited to a maximum of 6 vehicles at any time.
Introduce yourself for the record.
George Cielides Jr., 133 Market Street, Lowell, Massachusetts. And I'm here this afternoon with my client, Mr. Assad Maroon of Midway Car Centers, Mr. Chairman. And might I add, Mr. Chairman, it's nice to see you healthy, wealthy, and wise and back in commission.
Thank you, Counselor. Let me just see if we can... let's see. Where?
Essentially, it's 2 separate views. It's the same view.
Okay.
It's just one is laid out differently.
Right near the bridge? Hold on. Okay, this is Wood Street.
Sorry, we're just trying to orient ourselves to the
Selves
map
where it
here.
is.
Picture which
Yeah.
part of town we're in. Okay.
What are you next to? Give me some landmark there.
What's right next to it to you immediately? Right at Wood Street, at
Columbia Street.
Columbia and Wood are on the sides.
And he needs something,
Middlesex Plaza.
he needs something bigger to look at, like, you know.
Middlesex Plaza.
Middlesex
Okay.
Plaza, the old Middlesex Plaza.
Next to hair care salon.
This is a picture of the front of it.
Okay. Yeah, they're across the street from,
This, his business was something, installation of GPS systems and vehicles.
Right.
I was told, GPS system, because most of the vehicles today have
Come with them, right?
installation already. So he was trying to
Transition.
okay.
Okay.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
And you're only gonna put in 6 cars?
I can give you a little rundown, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman, if you'd
please
like,
do.
quickly. My client, Mr. Maroon, has been in the spot for 18 years. He generally has been engaged in installation of audio, car systems, stereo systems, the backseat video systems for the kids these days, et cetera. Unfortunately, we're at a time where there are so many cars now that already come with these souped-up systems and with the video systems already in them, that he's got fewer clientele, quite honestly. So he needs to supplement his situation a little bit there, and he'd like to be able to actually take the cars and fix them up and put in the systems himself, and then put them for sale. As far as the site itself is concerned, it's in a regional retail district, so it's zoned properly. The matter has been brought before the Zoning Board of Appeals, and a special permit was granted. The lot itself, not counting the building, is in excess of 8,000 square feet of display area. As you can see on there, we have provision for 16 parking spaces on site, and also for display of cars. But there are bays that he can bring the cars into the building that you're seeing there to do repairs, so they're not all going to just be sitting there. Mr. Maroon has the capability, and for years has dabbled in and done car repairs himself, and he intends to do the majority of them himself, but bring a mechanic in as necessary. He's got a beautiful paved surface there. He intends to finish up the lot in accordance with the plan you see there. The structure, our ordinance requires at least a 200-foot office. We've got a couple of thousand feet. He himself lives upstairs from there, so it's not like he's going to let the place go to rack and ruin or be a problem. So we think that he's going to put together a nice site. He could certainly use the assistance financially in this time, and I'll be glad to answer any other questions the commission might have, Mr. Chairman.
Have you ever been in the used car business?
Nope.
No. You familiarize yourself with the laws and the titles and, all the records, so that, you don't get the registry walking in one day saying, let me see your sales journal and your...
18 years I kept my reputation. I'm not willing to give it up now.
Okay.
Excellent.
It looks like a beautiful location. I know where you are now. I recognize the building. Have you always lived upstairs?
Yep.
Have you? Okay. It's as bad as owning a funeral
So my
home.
children work on there.
Really? Very good. Yeah. No,
Actually,
and it's a...
The used cars that we're gonna display,
Yeah.
they're not gonna be like, when you hear used cars, you're gonna hear like, you think it's used cars. But this is, we're gonna really make it really look nice. Those cars, we're gonna make them nice, we're gonna make it easier on the younger people to buy it ready. Instead of buying it and then trying to find the money to put the stuff in, to be ready, nice, clean. It's gonna help the business and it's gonna help us make
Okay.
something.
Well, it sounds like a pretty natural extension of what you've already been doing. You've been upgrading cars in the past to now what has now become a standard. So now you're talking about taking used cars and upgrading them to what are now, standard features on a lot of cars. And if we had any issues from the police? Okay.
No issues.
I don't have a problem with it. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Yeah, I think it's completely appropriate for the neighborhood. I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
We thank you very much,
Okay?
Mr.
You're all
Chairman.
set. We'll be by. No junk cars. Don't have that, I'm sure you won't where you live there.
If you live in there, it won't
Just
look bad, yeah.
for the record, the licensee would now need to have $25,000 bond.
I've spoken to him about it, and we'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Good luck to you.
Next on the agenda.
Commission now open up the hearing on an allegations of misconduct as charged by Kenneth E. LaValle, Superintendent of Police, against the licensee Gerald V. Hickey, Inc., Gennario Pereira, manager, the all-alcoholic beverage package goods store licensee at 424 Lawrence Street. This is commonly known as, place known as Turcotte's.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Attorney Dan Shanahan. On behalf of Gerald V. Hickey, doing business as Turcotte Liquors, with me is Mr. Pereira, who is the manager of Turcotte Liquors and has been so for approximately 23 years.
Okay, have you read the complaint, Counselor?
I have.
Okay, do you want it read into the record?
No, we'll waive the reading into the record.
Okay, I'm going to ask Captain Webb if he would just, for the viewing audience, and might just give a, well, no, wait a minute, why don't we, is the police officer here?
Mr. Chairman, Lieutenant Hodgson is here to present
Okay.
his testimony.
Maybe if you don't mind, if you would get up, Lieutenant, and in your own words, just tell us what happened.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. On April 11, 2009, approximately 2:20 p.m., we conducted an alcohol compliance check of Turcotte Liquor Store here in the city of Lowell. We sent an underage minor into the store. We provided that minor with cash. The minor did not carry any identification on his person. He was instructed to attempt to purchase alcohol from the store. Upon entering the store, he took a six-pack of beer from the cooler, walked to the cash register, paid for the six-pack of beer, was not asked for any identification by the clerk, and he then exited the store and came back to my location. Upon returning to my location, he gave me the six-pack of beer, gave a very fitting description of the of the clerk who sold to him. He described him as a white male, tall, wearing a jean shirt over a t-shirt. Myself and another detective then entered the liquor store. I immediately observed that clerk behind the counter to my right. I also observed a short Portuguese meal at the cash register, ringing up a sale of the customer at the time. I approached the white male who was described to me by the minor. I asked him for identification. He could not provide any. I then informed him that he recently just sold a six-pack of beer to a minor in the last few minutes. He denied that he sold it. At that point, the person who was ringing up the sale came over and said he sold the six-pack. And I informed him that the minor gave us a very fitting description of who sold the beer. Then he informed me that this person did not work at the store. As I saw him behind the counter, he came around the front of the counter. An argument ensued over this. I was trying to get accurate information at the time so I could file a report, and so forth. The male insisted that the person didn't work there, that he did not ring the sale. I informed him that this is a arrestable offense, that, we're just looking for the cooperation in this matter. 2 years I've been doing this, I never received any problem with any establishment, whether it be a store or a bar or any other establishment. When there's a violation, they've all been cooperative. This is the first time that I had any type of confrontation over the issue. I simply just wanted the information to file a report. I informed them that not only I'd be filing a report, but criminal charges were filed against the clerk who made the sale delivery to the minor, and then both were charged with hindering an investigation under the Chapter 138, 63A. And that is pending now at Lowell District Court. That's basically the facts of what occurred that day.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions?
Do you have a photograph of the individual that purchased the alcohol?
I don't have one with me, but I can produce one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant. If you want to step up and tell us your side of the story.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me. May I be heard
I'm
on
sorry.
behalf of the superintendent?
Yes.
I'll wait till further in the proceedings.
Okay, I thought we'd get, yeah. Okay.
Thank you. My understanding that it was not a minor, it was actually a 20-year-old underage adult, but clearly under the age of 21 that was assisting the Lowell Police as part of this investigation. On April 11th, 2009, Mr. Pereira was indeed the only employee that was working that day. What happened was Mr. Pereira went to use the men's room, as embarrassing as that may be. He went to run back to use the restroom. There was a longtime customer and friend of his, this Mr. Longton, and basically the instructions were, watch the store, make sure nobody runs off with it, I'll be right back. And at that time, Mr. Longton was not behind the counter. While in the bathroom, I guess there's some sort of amplification where when you're in the back room, you can hear what's happening out front. Mr. Pereira hears a conversation between Mr. Longton and what sounded like a customer. When Mr. Pereira returns out front, Mr. Longton is behind the counter and is attempting to ring in a sale. Apparently, this 20-year-old was attempting to purchase a six-pack of beer. Mr. Longton took it upon himself, being a frequent customer, trying to ring in that amount. That's not how that register works. You have to punch in a code. And there was no way that Mr. Longton would have been able to get the drawer open. Apparently, if the register is down for more than 5 minutes, it clears itself. You have to re-enter a code. When Mr. Pereira came out, he saw that there was a $6,500 sale that was attempted to be put into the register. In the confusion of trying to avoid that sale, he then rung up the six-pack purchase, and he did not check for identification for this patron. I haven't seen a picture. he can't, as we sit here today, describe what that individual looked like, whether or not he appeared to be the age of 30 or whatnot. But clearly the sale was made, and based on representations by Lowell Police, he was under the age of 21. With respect to the investigation, there was no attempt here to hinder an investigation. Mr. Pereira was telling the truth. Mr. Longton is not on payroll. He is not an employee of this corporation and had no authority to be behind the counter or to make any sales. They tried to explain this to the officer. Apparently it was Mr. Longton, who again is not affiliated with the corporation, that was combative or was disrespectful to Lowell Police. As a result, the store has taken remedial measures. It is now store policy that if one employee is working and they have to leave the counter or leave the sales area for any reason, then they have to clear the store, they lock the doors, and then they have a sign that says, well, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Certainly in retrospect, Mr. Pereira now wishes he did that on that day. He thought it was going to be an innocent enough trip to the men's room for a minute on a Saturday afternoon, and but for bad timing, turned out to have unfortunate consequences. Certainly Turcotte Liquors and myself take the sale of alcohol to an underage person seriously. Whether it was a minor or whether the sale was made to an intoxicated person, you could still have the same devastating results. Professionally speaking, I do a lot of liquor liability defense, and I've sat in homes of 20-year-olds who are in wheelchairs because they were served at a bar, got drunk, and got into car accidents. So certainly Mr. Pereira appreciates the public safety risk that is present with the sale of under a minor. Mr. Pereira's record, this is the first time he's ever personally been before this commission with respect to being a clerk on duty for sale to a minor. There apparently was a violation in 2008 by a store employee, and as a result of that employee violating store policy, he was terminated. But Mr. Pereira has been in the industry for about 26 years. He initially owned and managed the Colonial, and then back in 1986 he purchased Turcotte Liquors, where he's run it consistently from 1986 up to the present. And we would ask that that this matter be placed on file.
Okay.
Could I ask a question for the lieutenant quickly? Was Mr. Pereira combative with you, or was it the Mr. Longton?
Both were.
Both were, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Captain Webb.
Mr. Chairman, Superintendent LaValle has asked me to convey his concerns about this violation to you and to the other commissioners. We all know that underage drinking is a serious problem, and we know that when underage kids get a hold of alcohol, they engage in binge drinking and drink until they're intoxicated. Research also shows us that in the 15 to 20-year-old age group, 30% of those killed in traffic accidents have been drinking before they were involved in the fatal accident. In keeping this in mind of how serious this problem is, Lowell Police Department engages in compliance checks of licensees throughout the year. And each of the package stores in the city are visited numerous times by the police, just this type of operation during the year. I'm happy to report to you that most of the package stores, the vast majority of the package stores in the city, continually pass these compliance checks. Unfortunately, on this date, that wasn't the case with this licensee. In the past, over the past 2 years, this is the third time that this licensee has been before the commission. One time for the same violation, each 3 times. One time the violation was placed on file, another time 6 months probation was given as a discipline. The superintendent requests that, in this case now, since it's apparent that this licensee does not get it, is not getting the message, superintendent requests that the license be suspended for a length of time to be determined by the commission, but he requests that it be an actual suspension, not placed on file, not suspended to be carried as a suspension for any length of time. This licensee needs to be closed for a significant amount of time in the interest of public safety.
I guess my concern is, looking at the violations, you had one in 2007, one in 2008, and now one in 2009, all for the same offense, which is delivery to a person under the age of 21. And the other thing that bothers me is, there was an applicant that came in here on Concord Street, I believe, that was a variety store that was getting a beer and wine license. And you came in here and you spoke in opposition to their license because they weren't specialized in selling to underage individuals. And that because you were a professional liquor store, you had the experience to prevent this from occurring. And since that time, you've been here twice, and the individual on Concord Street has never been here. So you talked a good game, but you haven't been able to back it up. And you admitted that you sold under the age of 20, and if you had a problem with the Lowell police, you don't be combative with them. You state your problem, and you go the other way. If there was an individual hanging out in your store that shouldn't have been there, they should have been kicked out. So it would be my prerogative to come down more harshly than we have in the past on Turcotte Liquors.
I have a question now. I know that there have been at least 3 incidents where the Lowell police have caught you selling to minors. And when I use the term minors, I mean persons under the legal age to purchase, under the age of 21. But have there been any incidents now with the ABCC as well, where they've made similar undercover? I need you to speak into the microphone for a record to be made.
Not that I know, sir.
You're the business owner, correct?
Yes, I am, sir.
And have you been in front of the ABCC for any reason?
Not that I recall. I've been here. I've been here, but not ABC, not that I recall.
Not that you recall, or not for a fact?
Well, I don't remember right now, sir.
Okay. I mean, my concern is this. I mean, you know, front page of the Lowell Sun just a couple of days ago, and I think it clearly sets forward, you know, we had a liquor store in Billerica with 3 strikes that's gone, not suspended, but gone. And, you know, we've got 3 instances now at Turcotte, and the police reporting to us that we're getting a hard time when they're trying to just simply gather information on the names and identities of the people involved.
If I may, 19 stores were in compliance on this particular day. 4 were found in violation. I have read the incident report. I feel that none of the other 3 have these extenuating circumstances. It wasn't a clear intent or neglect.
Counselor, Counselor, the extenuating circumstances have absolutely nothing to do with giving the police a hard time. Okay? It was his store. It was his responsibility. If this person that was in, where is this Mr. Longton? How come he isn't here?
We don't have any control over Mr. Longton. He's not an employee.
Yeah, but he was a good friend because you trusted him with the cash register. Why didn't you say to him, hey, you got to come in and help me and tell these guys what happened? If he was my good friend and he was mouthing off at the police, I'd give him a kick in the ass and get him out the door. Excuse my French. 3 times. 3 times you walk out of the store and you leave somebody who's not even employed, who has absolutely no training. Watch my store. That's like the policeman saying, here, hold my gun, I got to go to the bathroom. You know? I mean, it did this, you know, and I'm sitting here watching the 2 of you, and you, Counselor, were very surprised when Commissioner Occasion brought up the fact that this was his 3rd time. He didn't tell you about that. Because I saw the expression on your face, and you turned to him and said, yeah, he didn't tell you about that. He didn't tell you about the 3rd one. And I'm sure that's why Commissioner Weiker's wondering, has he ever been called into Boston?
And my understanding, when he was brought before this commission in 2008, documents were provided from the ABCC, I believe, that did show that there hadn't been any violations, at least at the state level.
Well, maybe
at
there
that
wasn't,
time.
but that was at
At the
that
time.
time. But that isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about locally, he has 3 times. Locally, he had, let me see, I can see it here. March 22nd, 07. December 4th, 08. And then this recent one just now. And the first one was placed on file, and the second one, he was given 6 months probation. Now, this is the third one in less than 18 months. So I don't think I don't think he's getting the message about how this works, okay? This, and you know, even if I was in the least bit inclined to feel sorry, I got to tell you right up front, as far as I'm concerned, you picked the absolute no-no, and that was arguing with the policeman. We will never know. We will never know. You know, it's like the police out there stopping you for speeding. Everybody gets mad at the policeman. There, for the grace of God, he might have stopped you from wrapping yourself around a telephone pole. There, for the grace of God, the police going around keeping you, they're not going around to put you out of business. They're not going around to cause you a hard time. Who's the first one you pick up the phone and call when you got a problem? Well, you know what? They're out there trying to prevent that problem. Because all you got to do is walk into a funeral home and see a 17, 18-year-old kid laid out. And let me tell you something. Once it happens, you never forget it. And it's, gee, no, I'm sorry, or gee, it's too bad. These guys are out there every night banging on the doors, and I'm, you know, over selling a 6-pack of beer, you're going to give the guy a hard time. And I believe the police officer when he said, most people, when it happens, they say, gee, you know, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. But to stand up and start saying it wasn't this one and this guy, you know, and you're going to let somebody you don't even know go to your cash register, I just don't understand that. I think we need to give this gentleman a little time to think about it. And I'm going to make a motion for a 4-day suspension.
If I may, before that motion is acted upon, Mr. Pereira has recently gotten a taste of what closure of his store is like. As this commission may be aware, there was an issue with a dissolved corporation.
Don't go there, Counselor. He brought that on himself.
Counselor, I'll
He
just
brought
put
that
on the
on
record.
himself.
That was
Don't
brought
go
to
there.
that was brought to the attention of that store in, I think, October or November.
Right.
That the
This
corporation
commission-
was dissolved by the Secretary of Corporations.
This commission made a big mistake because this guy came in and he said to her, oh, don't worry about it. I'm going to get it done and I'll bring you the papers. Okay?
And it was more than 6
And you
months
know what?
after it was
6
brought to his
months
attention.
later, if he hadn't got caught, we would have never known, and he would have never filed his corporate papers. So don't go there, because if I had my way, you wouldn't have got your license, friend. I tell you that right now.
No, I understand that, and we are working diligently.
We try to work with people.
It doesn't take
We're
very
trying to
long
get
to put that
people.
paperwork together.
You know,
A few
that's
hours.
just like the police department. They said, they're not there to abuse you. They're trying to work with you. Unfortunately, there are people in this world that every time the policeman gives them a warning, they think, he's weak. He wouldn't do anything. Well, you're only going to get so many warnings, and then somebody gets upset. And you just brought up something that really upsets me. You don't want to go there. Because I felt like we were made fools of. This was our fault. The three of us, we took his word that he was going to do this. And we went ahead.
It's not my intent by any means to embarrass the commission.
Well,
He did employ me.
And I admit to it. You know, I admit to it. I got an S right here. But you know what? I won't get a second one, okay? I won't get a second one.
Of course.
And the law department bent over backwards to resolve the issue. And I admit openly and honestly, I didn't feel it was right. But you were lucky that the law department was there to do what was right, and they did what was right. He got his life. That closure was his fault, nobody else's.
Oh, and I'm not blaming anyone else. The
So
example
he's
of...
going to get a good taste of it. You want to go for a week? Let's go for a week.
No, that's...
I'm making a motion for 4 days, and consider, as far as I'm concerned, consider yourself lucky.
I'm going to make a motion to amend that motion. I'm going to ask for it to be 2 weeks with 4 days to serve, the balance of 10 days suspended for the remainder of the calendar year.
I'll accept that.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
As amended, correct? Yes.
As amended.
Yes.
And let me tell you something, you take him outside and you talk to him, you tell him a policeman walks in that building, I don't care when it is. He better never come before us again.
No, he will show respect at all times to all
And
law
his friends.
enforcement.
Because those people aren't your friends. They're not here to help you. You're here standing here by yourself, giving up an afternoon's work, hiring an attorney to defend you, and where's this guy that was supposed to be your friend? He's probably off fishing somewhere, and, having a good time for himself. He could care less. That's what people don't understand. These people are not your friends. They're going to take advantage of you, and they're going to walk away. And you're the guy that's risking everything you own. Your liquor license, your livelihood, everything.
And I would just like to provide a status to the commission with respect to the corporate transfer. The issue was an attorney in Chelmsford who initially organized the corporation back in 1986 cannot locate any of the corporate documents. So what we are now going to do is recreate the bylaws, annual reports, and then have the proper votes. That way he can properly sign off on this transfer. We have revived the other corporation, and then we're continuing to work with the board, and I do thank the law department was very helpful in assisting us in this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just to reiterate the decision of the board, I take you took a vote?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The matter of the suspension of license for 14 days, 2 weeks, 14 days. 10 of those 14 days suspended, 4 days to be served. The date of when this matter should commence, as far as...
We have to give him a right to appeal, don't we?
Well, he has upon receipt of notice of the decision, written notice of decision, he has 5 days in which to file the appeal. So possibly to start the suspension period, starting, if you wish, I'm looking at my calendar here for June, starting Friday, June 19th.
My
possibly.
understanding has always been that this board has not, obviously you're free to do what you want, but my understanding is in the past, the board has never stayed any suspension it's gone into effect forthwith, and if whatever rights they want to pursue, they are free to pursue. But my understanding is the board has never, or unless it's asked, it doesn't stay suspensions, but obviously the board can do what it wants.
Well, the thing is, on what Solicitor Leahy is just saying is that depending on the situation, obviously a stay would have to come to the License Commission. If the commission doesn't wish to honor a stay, a request of a stay, then it's incumbent upon the licensee to file a temporary injunction with the Superior Court. I believe that's the standard procedure, pending the hearing to be heard before the ABC. The ABC will never schedule a hearing for appeal on a decision of the local board. Probably would take a minimum of 30 days before a hearing date would be scheduled. That would be the earliest, 30 days from today. And I would suggest to the board that only for the sake of allowing time to have the notice in hand and then 5 days upon receipt to file that request for appeal with the ABC, it would then be up to it can be duly noted in the notice of decision to say that there would be no stay request allowed for by the local board. So any request to stop the board's decision from taking effect would have to come from the court.
Why don't we start at June 22nd? It's a Monday, and you get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I'd rather go
Closed.
for a weekend.
Well, okay. I thought that would give the 5 days and everything, but whatever you got.
The thing is that to have its most impact, the busiest times would be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. are the busiest.
Wednesday. Okay.
Effective 1 second after midnight, 1 week from today, which would be what, a Thursday.
So to take effect starting Thursday, June the 18th.
And that would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
If you are doing
wanna go
4
Wednesday?
I
days,
would go Wednesday.
if you are doing 4 days, I would suggest maybe you do like 6 o'clock that way, because if you suspend it at 12:01, it would be reinstated at 12:01, 4 nights later. So
No,
maybe,
But liquor stores have to be closed by 11 o'clock anyway.
do they? I don't know.
Yeah. That one I actually knew.
This tells you what I do now.
That'd be good. Okay, start at Wednesday. Then, yeah, that's what he said, we agree. We're gonna start at Wednesday, so it's gonna run
Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay?
So,
Because those are the busy days. I mean, there's no sense in closing them Monday or Sunday.
so
No.
Wednesday, June the 17th.
Yeah,
Okay, for 14 days, the last 10 days of which would be suspended.
right.
And you would have the licensing on probation?
Yes, that's
For the,
what he said.
for
didn't you?
suspended for the balance of the calendar year, yes?
So the balance of the calendar year is the probationary period.
Right.
So in the event, if the licensee was to be cited again for, let's say, another circumstance where I'm sealed,
He's gonna automatically have to
It's like a
serve the 10
violation of
days,
probation.
And
in addition to
Right.
any additional,
we have to have another hearing.
yes, you would
You'd have to have another hearing, and it
Yeah.
would be a minimum of the 10 days plus whatever you determined in the
Okay.
other instance, if
Right,
anything.
yeah. Okay. This help was very helpful, by the way. Huh? Who's it? What's it? You want to read that, or you want me to just tell him? Read it out. I don't have a problem with that. We're not getting involved. I said we're not. We're not a judge and jury. We're not getting involved.
Next item on the agenda, request by Donald J. Duran, landlord for property at 173 Stedman Street, Lowell, to address the licensing board. Mr. Duran filed copy of a constable service of a, quote, no trespass order, unquote, to tenant Michael W. Caveney, manager, the MC Auto LLC, a used car dealer licensee at 173 Stedman Street. For the record, the licensing board had Mr. Duran and Mr. Caveney before them on the meeting of May the 14th, 2009, and that at that time, it was understood that Mr. Duran, the landlord, claims that the tenant, Mr. Caveney, had vacated the premises and had not paid rent. And it was the vote of the board at that time to continue this matter to the meeting of June the 25th, 2009.
Introduce yourself, please.
Donald Duran, landlord, to Michael Caveney for 173 Stedman Street, the used car lot.
Okay. Did you go to court, Donald?
No, this isn't going any further than today. He's,
There's nothing we can do for you. I mean, you got a conflict here.
Not only that, the last time we were in, we did schedule this for both parties to be back here on June 25th, which is our next meeting date. Okay, so how can we take a decision when the law requires us to have notice with respect to the party that's currently got a license issued before we can act on it? So, and the notice has them coming in on the 25th. Are you telling me now that you guys have resolved this and that there is no longer a legal dispute?
I'm telling you that there's not going to be a legal dispute, that there's going to be no resolved. He's been issued a no trespassing order with the Lowell Police Department. He's been served an eviction notice. This isn't going any further other than today. He's operating illegally. He's conducting his business, and I'm coming before the board to ask you that I do not want him conducting his business with my location and just to have him do what he pleases. He's using my location. He has a no trespassing order. He's not coming back. I don't understand why this should go any further.
All right. Has the
If you
court-
have a used car dealers...
Has the court approved the eviction?
Excuse me?
Do you have the court order?
Well, no, it goes back to what Commissioner Weicker says. The licensee has to be here. You can't take any action unless he has notice of the hearing to proceed. It doesn't matter, the stay-away order, anything to do with that is different than the procedures in place for taking a license. He doesn't have notice, he's not here. There's nothing before the board to even act on.
Basically what the city solicitor, just in summary, the three of us could vote right now to revoke the license, and it would have absolutely no meaning and no effect, because unless the licensee has been given notice, an opportunity to appear, it has no effect. So we can't legally take a vote today, which is why we scheduled it for a day to have both of you here, which is coming up on June 25th.
And you both got to be here. This is like people coming in, and we've had this happen a number of times, where people come in and they'll say, I want to take over this used car lot, Joe Hickey has the license, and it's been a used car lot, but he's giving it up. Well, where's Joe Hickey and the license? Because you can't, you got to both be here, so we know that there's only going to be one license there. This is no good. We can't solve this problem for you. You got to get the gentleman in. If you want, we'll keep you on the agenda. If not, I don't know what else to tell you, and I don't know the first thing about what he said.
I'm assuming that, you're going to have, a court order for eviction by the next court date, or by this next, June 25th? You said you served the notice of eviction.
He's left the prop, he's been gone for 90 days.
Got that. Don't care right now. Might care on the 25th. All right? Today, I can't do anything about it. So my question is, I'm assuming that you've begun your eviction process and you'll have an order ready for us to look at on the 25th?
No, this ain't going to court. It's, I formally evicted him in writing. I've served him with a no trespassing order with the Lowell Police Department. This man is not coming back to this property. And my concern is that he's conducting his business in using this address, and I just don't understand why he could continue to be conducting this business this long. I'm not taking him to court.
Okay, we haven't gotten any notice that there's an illegal business being conducted, but if the police do give us that information, we will act on it. But we do have this scheduled for a hearing on June 25th. So what would you like us to do today because we cannot today.
Nothing can be done legally.
I'm telling you right now, we cannot do anything with respect to the license today when we've scheduled it for the license holder to be here on the 25th.
No, I understand what you're saying. If he has to be here, I'm just...
All right, but that's why at our last hearing, we scheduled it for the 25th.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Weicker. I believe this gentleman said he was going to go to court and evict, because he does have a valid lease with you, correct? Does he have a lease for that property?
He had a lease until I've served him the eviction notice.
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion to continue this to its regularly scheduled day of June 25th.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next.
Just in summary, as far as the meeting is concerned, there were two applications for hearings on June the 25th, 2009. Legal notice scheduled for publication in the local newspaper on June 12th. Kathy Zaymontry, she owns a business near here, a Southeast Asian restaurant at 343 Market Street. She is a common Bitler licensee, and she's requesting a malt beverage and wine restaurant license. Also, the Lowell Sports Club, Inc., the all-alcoholic beverage club licensee at 490 Central Street, is requesting that the perimeter of the building be used for outside seating, and I mean the perimeter of the building, all of it. In other words, if he has land, and it's questionable as to how much land there is under the deed or whatever it is in which the Lowell Sports Club holds the property. And Mr. Silva, the president of the club, is having a surveyor prepare a proper plan to reflect what it is the club owns. There was some discrepancy as to whether the deed and the mortgagee's plan is the same. Doesn't appear to be the same, and he's going to resolve that. But in any event, he's looking to have all privately owned area around the building to be part of the outside seating area of the club. Okay. If you know the club, you know the location of the club.
Right.
You have reason to chuckle. In any event, that will be heard for the meeting of June the 25th.
Is that going to be enough time for them to resolve this issue and regarding what land we're actually talking about and post notice?
I don't know if I provided copies of the application, and if you have a chance to look at it, the second set. It's a curious thing that what you see in yellow is the area which would be the perimeter.
So he's not looking for like tables and stuff out there. He's just looking that he can sell if they're hanging out in the back.
No, actually, most of this is on North Street and Central, which is right on the corner.
Are there in butters to this property?
There's one abutter, property owner touching, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Leandro and his wife, I believe. And there is a church approximately 200 feet away on Charles Street. Those are the two that would have to be properly notified of this matter. It's the thing with in my observation, I've talked to the city engineer's office, consulted with them on once the application was filed. I spoke with one of the city engineers discussing the matter and what exactly did they have on record as far as the land and the building. Interestingly is that the building at one time, many decades ago, was a firehouse. And then became what we recently know as the Pulaski Club. The area around the building, particularly not the sides adjacent to the street, the public way, but the privately owned area is all hot top, and it's set up as a parking area. Right up against the building, as you face the building on the left side, and on the rear side, it's hot top right up against the building. The question is, what is the club's property and what is Mr. Leandro's property, who is the only abutter? It's some dispute as to the, particularly in the rear, the back side of the building. The side on the left, the north side, for all intents and purposes, has no use for public seating or sidewalk seating or outside seating. That's just from my observation. It would only be the side that's on the North Street side, and depending on how much is in the back and the rear, how much is available, it could.
We'll take a ride over and take a look at it.
It says 4 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, the plan that you have, the hand-sketched plan is very generous to the club.
Well, where you can get it to over here.
I was going to say,
It's
I
the
walk
best way to approach
walk
it.
the neighborhood.
Okay.
For the sake of the record, Attorney Michael Talty is representing the package store licensee known as M&B and Sons Liquors, which is at 36 Concord Street. That matter was originally scheduled for a hearing this afternoon, but the Attorney Talty properly notified the license office on Monday, June 8th, that circumstances prevented him from being here representing his client, and asked for continuance to the June 25th meeting. I take it that the commission would concede that. That's basically part of our conditions of notifying local licensing board when there is a continuance requested. And also there will be 2 other hearings on complaints against package store licensees one at 1172 Lawrence Street, Jerry's Food Store, and also the one at 207 University Avenue, Jerry's Food Store number 2, two separate independent owners.
Okay, do you need a motion to bring them in, or do you have,
Well, they're all
we've made that
scheduled. They're
motion?
scheduled.
Okay,
We
for
did
next,
that last week.
okay. Are you folks here for anything that we can help you with?
I imagine I was supposed to...
Come up to the mic.
I'm Tawny Ricks, I'm the owner of Freshies. I'm looking to get a permit for a sidewalk stand for the Folk Festival, so I probably had to send the application in before today. I didn't understand that, so is it possible for me to just hand it to you and reschedule it for a different date?
Can put it
I
on
have
for the
the
next date.
insurance as well.
Has you got permission from the city?
Sorry.
Have you got permission from the city? What, go
If I
ahead.
may just
Sure.
interject here. I did spoke with the young lady on the telephone at least a week, 10 days ago. She requested I send her an application for sidewalk stand permit in conjunction with the upcoming Folk Festival weekend.
Yeah.
It's just a street aid request. She has the liability insurance. It's only to have a
Move to give it to her.
Yeah.
Do we have to put it on another day?
Does it have
Or
to
can
be
we
put
just
up?
do it right now?
You can act on it today if you wish.
You're gonna sell kids' children's clothing?
I actually wanted to do face painting.
Oh, yeah, but you're not gonna sell any food?
No,
Not selling food?
no, just stuff we
I'll make a
sell.
motion.
No beer, no wine?
Don't want to get the toddlers loaded.
No formula.
No formula, very good.
I'll just make a motion to approve the
I'll
license.
second the motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
That's for being so
Appreciate it.
patient.
Is that something I come back and pick up, or?
Well, there's a fee of $5 for the permit.
It's $5 a day?
Just for the permit, $5.
Oh, it's just $5? I made a check out for 15.
Well, why don't you come in?
Send me another check.
And you'll still
You got
need to
plenty
pick up the
time.
actual,
Well, you can come
you'll still
in
need
and
to
see
pick
him
up the
again.
actual license and
I'll
permit.
Can we
just
help
come
you,
back
sir?
and sit through the whole thing next week.
No, I'm here for the Disabilities Commission after you folks.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All righty. Captain Webb?
Nothing else, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Solicitor? No? Okay, anybody got anything you'd like to bring up? I'm going to go on a personal note to everybody. This is going to be re-shown on Saturday and Sunday at 10 o'clock. I want everybody to remember that Sunday's Flag Day, so, get up Sunday morning and put a flag out in front of your house. Sunday's Flag Day. I got a couple of projects going that I'm looking for some help. We're trying to put a police precinct in Couple Square. Anybody that feels like giving us a hand doing it, you know how to reach me. I'm in the phone book. And the other thing that's going on that I'm going to use for personal note is I'm building a victory garden at the VA clinic here in Lowell on Marshall Road for the CC Center. Anybody that's ever been down there, they know what a wonderful job those people do. They take care of many veterans that are suffering from emotional problems and whatnot. And so we thought a victory garden might give them something to relate to. Anybody who'd like to help out, I'm in the phone book. Outside of that, I thank you for the personal consideration. Benjamin, we're coming home. I'll take a motion to,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor, say yes.
Yes.